Hello, hello, hello. It's been a minute. So really quickly, this is probably not going to be quick. Who am I kidding? I'm going through something right now that is requiring me to embody this really deep sense of mindfulness. And I'm going to be really honest that I'm struggling today. Today's one of those days that I actually have to really get some stuff done, and yet it is after 5. I still have a big chunk of my to-do list to do. This is not something that I typically do. This is all, there's like external circumstances, including, so what I'm doing is I am studying to teach a curriculum on mindfulness. And tomorrow's a big day. It starts at 6 a.m. Also, I have a deadline. That's the thing I haven't started. See, I have to at least have a really terrible, it doesn't have to be great, it just has to be a draft of this article I have to write for tomorrow. And yeah, I got a long way to go to even get to there. So anyway, since I'm struggling, I thought I am going to help myself embody mindfulness a little bit better by pulling a card for myself. This deck is called the Mindfulness Card, Simple Practices for Everyday Life. And I like to use it because it's, I just kind of ask the universe what messages it has for me, what will be helpful and supportive, and what's going on in my life. And since I'm sharing here, I'm going to just assume that whatever comes out is going to be helpful for you as well. So thank you for these messages on how to be here right now. Because here's the thing that I really truly believe is that we're shifting into a new energy where, like, the whole world is. Some of us are aware of it, and some of us aren't. And either way, we're shifting, right? And I think we're all going to be directed onto different paths, kind of a soul-led path. And the only way we can really talk to our souls is in the present moment. Otherwise, our ego gets involved. It attaches all kinds of stories to it, right? La, 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 la. This is your path. This is your mission. And then the stories start. Anyway. But to get on that path, I think the present moment is the key. And mindfulness teaches us not just to be in that present moment. And it's not just even about being in the present moment. It's about being able to understand and be aware of all the distractions that we have that take us out of that present moment. And a lot of my distractions, my God, a lot of my distractions have just been internal. They've been really like things that I've been programmed to do since I was a kid, ways I've just reacted to certain things. Gosh, I've spent a lot of my life reacting. I don't judge myself. I mean, it's just a really human thing, right? I've also spent a big portion of life, like, really seeing the negative. And don't get me wrong, like, there are circumstances in my life that have been extremely hard. And but inevitably something bad can happen, and then, like, often our suffering is created in those stories that we create around it. So anyway, I'm gonna pull a card. I'm just gonna ask the universe, like, what is it that you and I need to know about accessing our present moment in a meaningful way that to me aligns me with my soul. You don't have to believe that in order to really embrace the gift of mindfulness. So anyway, I can be completely agnostic of any belief system, and that's what I really love too. I've spent a lot of my time completely agnostic, and that's shifted in the last few years. And I mean, I was raised Catholic, for God's sakes, in a small town in Iowa. You didn't exactly get the creme de la creme of priests in my community, and I don't know. But I was an extra sensitive kid. So anyway, universe, what is it that you want me and anybody who watches me here to know about accessing our present moment? Oh, that one just flipped over, so we're gonna take that one. Oh my God, it's blank. We can write our own. Okay, that means something, right? Like, that's a great question, right? Like, what does the present moment have to teach us? That's the question that came to my mind. Maybe something new came, or something else came to yours. I'm curious. Leave a comment and let me know if the question came into your mind. All right, looks like 2 cards flew on the floor. I like this first one. Ooh, interesting combo. All right, so we got walk the walk and hack the breath. So, I suppose this is definitely a message for me. I haven't read the back yet, but what I'm getting from this is the thing that is going to help me the very most to succeed in my class tomorrow that I'm a little bit nervous about. I'm a little nervous and I'm excited. And I know the most supportive thing for me to do right now is just to stay as present as possible, stay as grounded as possible, stay as out of my crazy monkey mind that blah, 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 has a lot of stories about a lot of things. Just really staying present and grounded in my body. But let's see what the back says. Physical movement, such as running, dancing, or active sports, bring us into the moment. So many people in my life, like, maybe wouldn't identify with the idea that they have a mindfulness practice, but they run 5 miles every day, or, you know, they ski up the mountain. Gosh, those people, they impress me. You will never catch me doing that. Anytime I say never, I end up doing something, so gosh. Sorry, future self, who's gonna have to skin up a mountain. Anyway, the card goes on to say, when our attention is resting with the body and its movements, there's less room for agitating thoughts to spin us into worry. Boy, isn't that the truth? That was when I first got sick. One of the biggest reasons I started meditating is because I lost the ability in my physical body to be active. I wasn't able to go for runs or, you know, take those weird HIIT classes that I used to take, you know, all those things. So that's why I started meditating right after I had my daughter 13 years ago. She just celebrated her 13th birthday. My love. All right. This restful but dynamic state is available all the time, and the best way to encourage it is to put all your attention on how walking feels as you're doing it. Ah, yes. So this teacher training curriculum that I'm going through, it's all evidence-based. I chose to do an evidence-based program because I actually work in academic medicine, and one of the things that I do is translate all the science that this university is putting out in all these different areas. And, you know, the researchers out there, like, there's a lot of research on mindfulness. There's a lot of science behind it. And one thing I've learned about research is that dissemination is really, truly a problem. And, you know, kind of selling mindfulness, like, well, who wants to be more mindful, right? I honestly, like, there's a piece of me that believes that. Like, I almost want to change the word somehow. I don't know. It'll probably end up being some derivative that includes the word shit in it. So, I don't know. If I come up with one, I will be the best copywriter in the world. But anyway, all that to say is that the reason I'm doing this evidence-based program is because I want to be able to share this with the people that I work with. And, you know, scientists enjoy the science. Like, I'm not going to try to explain the science to them. I'm going to really come at it as hey, this practice has changed my life in X, Y, and Z ways. Like, literally all the ways. And it's a practice that has a lot of science behind it. I'll let you look at the science. Like, I will teach this part to you because this is, I know this. Like, I know these things to be true. I've experienced it in ever deepening ways in my life. And so I'm so excited to like learn how to teach it and learn how to teach it in a way that, I mean, I came to these practices just like pulling here and there and everywhere and kind of cobbling together my own ideas about what something looks like. But I gotta say, this curriculum that I'm working with, man, it's so spot on. It took me like 10 years to figure out all the things that you could learn in 3 hours, basically, through this curriculum, or at least the seed can be planted. Mindfulness is one of those things that does not work. You can read all you want to do. You can read everything possible about mindfulness, but if you don't actually practice being mindful, it's never going to work for you. It's so frustrating. I spent a lot of time just reading about it. It's kind of what we're doing here, but not really, because it's my intention to take this and incorporate it into the rest of my day. So, all right, so we're talking about like walking, right? And feeling the bottom of your feet when you're walking. After I got sick, another thing, so when I was able to introduce movement back into my life, it was walking, and it was slow walking, and it was so frustrating to my ego mind. It got so wrapped up in it. It was like, victim, victim, victim. I'm such a victim. But now I could walk fast. I do walk fast, but I also have kept the slow walk as just a fundamental part of my day. I mean, I also have a small dog that is very pokey and very much needs to sniff everything. So it's very helpful. But one of the things that I do to bring my mindfulness practices into my day is just pay attention to how it feels on the bottom of my feet. So fun that we got this card. It says, let yourself become the walking. Let yourself become the walking, and enjoy how connecting and peaceful that experience can be. My goodness, it's so true. In my own experience, that I've been noticing, like I notice clouds now, the beauty of the clouds. There's a whole art show going on up above our heads all the time, but most of us never take the time to even breathe, much less look up. Flowers, like, yeah, it's a really big part of my mindfulness practice. Anyway, I wonder if it's part of yours, or if that's something that you might want to start doing. I like how I took walk the walk as like a metaphor, but it really was actually literally talking about walking. So 2 meanings, 1 card, right? It's great. All right, hack the breath. Yeah, I remember the first time I ever tried any kind of like breathing practice, and I read it in a magazine. I think I was asking my boss for a raise, and I was so scared. Like every single like neurotransmitter, I don't know if that's the right word, but everything was popping off, and I was like sweating, and my heart was racing, and it's just a terrible feeling. But I remember I had read something about like breathing in for 8 seconds and then breathing out for 4 or something. There was some numerical thing, and I remember I tried it just before I walked into my boss's office, and I sat down and was like, oh my God, like that actually worked. And so even though I didn't have a formal mindfulness practice for many years from then, I remember that moment. So anyway, let's read what the back says. One reason the breath plays such a central role in meditation is that it will always be available, so you don't need any special conditions to use it. It's so true. Like when my body gave out on me, the only thing I could do is breathe. Well, yeah, at the time wasn't able to see like, yes, I'm still breathing. You know, that wasn't a thought. I was very wrapped up in what a shit hand I'd been dealt. And now in retrospect, I could look back and say, yeah, that's the fundamental right there. All right, moving on. Perhaps just as important is that you can be a mirror for how you're feeling. It can be a mirror for how you're feeling. If you are stressed or tense, your breath reflects that by becoming short. If you're relaxed, your breath is longer. Take advantage of the mirror relationship by intentionally making your breath long and slow, even if you're not feeling particularly relaxed, and see what happens. Well, I know what I have to do next. I need to take the small dog for a walk and focus on those long, slow breaths. I'm curious what message you got out of this. I think one of the coolest things about using prompts like this is that what means something to me might not mean anything to you, but doesn't mean there isn't a message for you there. It doesn't mean there's not something that you can get out of it and apply that resonates within your own life. So thanks for being here with me. I appreciate it. The card that's on top of it is love the messenger. I'm not the messenger. I asked the universe. The universe gave us these cards. Let's keep that in mind. That's the energy right now at play. It's not me. But there were messages for me. And probably you too. I hope. Anyway. All right. Well, leave a comment if you have any thoughts. Take care.